In line with Women's History Month, Kearney Middle East has launched a survey on women in the GCC workforce, their paths to securing leadership positions, and the challenges they continue to face in trying to do so. I'm joined by partner at Kearney, Isabel Neiva. Thank you for joining us today, Isabel. Now, to what degree really are UAE and Saudi leadership teams truly committed to diversity and to inclusion?
Thank you. Well, both UAE and Saudi have made fantastic progress over the last few years in terms of women participation in the workforce. And UAE is ranked as a leading country in the region, having 66% of women in the public sector and 30% of women in leadership. Saudi, for instance, in a World Bank study recently, has been ranked as a top reformer and a top improver among 190 countries. And the women participation in the workforce increased from 20% in 2018 to 37% in 2022. So fantastic achievements and policies, national initiatives that actually bring a more inclusive and balanced workplace and work landscape have been key to increase the women participation in the workforce. The good news is that women continue to be at the forefront, right? They are a key pillar of the national vision of both UAE and Saudi.
Absolutely, and we continue to see exponential growth in the female workforce in Saudi. Do most organizations, though, have real diversity, equity, and inclusion targets? And are they taking measurable steps to achieve these targets?
As you mentioned, we did a survey both in Saudi and UAE among both men and women. And 60% of the respondents, on average among both countries, did state that their organizations had diversity, equity, and inclusion objectives/targets in place. One of the key takeaways for us, though, was the lack of transparency or the lack of communication of those objectives. And in fact, 45% of them stated that their organizations were not publicly communicating those objectives. So I would not say a mandate, but definitely a push to have those ambitions widely communicated would bring additional incentives to translate those the diversity, equity, and inclusion objectives into actionable initiatives.
And additional accountability in terms of reaching those objectives. Now, your survey shows women in the GCC are very ambitious, and securing leadership positions is really key for them. But do women here feel as though they have equal opportunities to do so?
They do. So around 42% of the women surveyed in the UAE and 52% of the women surveyed in Saudi stated that they felt that they had the support of the board of directors or the C-suite to achieve those leadership positions. And I would even go a step further, and among both men and women, 40% of the UAE respondents and 50% of the Saudi respondents stated that the next CEO or the next minister would likely or most likely be a woman. So great news.
That's wonderful news. Having said that, the majority of your respondents say it's difficult for them to get the support that they need to secure these top roles. What type of support do they still need that they're not getting currently?
I think the support at the leadership level is there. What we do see is a gap into translating that support into more formal mechanisms or concrete initiatives. And in fact, 70% of women do not have career development plans in place. An average of 25% of women do not have regular trainings. And less than 23% of women actually have regular review and promotion opportunities. While this is not surprising, in our experience, there is often a lag, if you want, and a gap between the strategy and translating that into an actionable roadmap. And we currently do propose to have a structured approach to that, where ambitions are translated into initiatives around policies, around programs, around facilities and infrastructure and communication as well, to really see a step change in women integration and women in the leadership position.
Well, thank you for sharing these really revealing insights with us. Partner at Kearney, Isabel Neiva.